Welcome to the show. Let us know what you do.
Well, I'm happy to be here. I'm a musician, so primarily I write songs, record and perform, and have been full-time doing that for some years now. As far as what do, I play, country and rock and roll, and I'm involved in some hip-hop and rap producing and stuff like that as well. So it's a diverse music world that I exist in.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you went full time in music. So what did you do before?
So previously, I tried just about everything. I went to college and I was spending a lot of my time playing music and not going to class. So I realized pretty quick that maybe music would be a better career choice for me. And I worked a bit in the oil field as in my late teens, 19, 20, 21, early adulthood. I realized pretty quick that lifestyle wasn't for me. I wanted to see more of the world and experience my life opposed to having a big bank account. And so basically at that point, I started to trust, what I call a higher power in regards to my career and see where the music led me.
Interesting story for sure. As a career coach, I get always this question, how somebody start their career, right? So I would like to know more about how did you find this is something you're passionate about?
Well, I discovered I was passionate about it at a young age. I was 11 or 12 years old, and it just seemed to me one of the best ways of expression. My sisters say I was an angry child, so I think growing out of that agitation state and into more of an accepting human being, music played a huge part of that. I was able to actually feel and communicate in a way that was adequate for my emotional state. And so in a sense, as soon as I had a healing benefit from music, I knew it was something I wanted to pursue.
Who was the person who introduced you to the music?
It was my father. So he pulled out a guitar one night. I didn't know what it was. There's like a black box out of the closet. Everyone was interested. I just remember the whole energy in the room completely changed. And I thought in that moment, I would like to be able to do that.
A lot of people out there who are passionate about music and they want to produce music, but not everybody get a chance. It's because it's a highly competitive, like every other career, it's a very competitive space. So as a beginner who is just figuring out, what they want to do, what's your advice for them?
Okay, well, the first thing is just pay attention to the way you feel about what you're doing musically and what feels right. There's going to be a lot of pressure from the media and from, people at school and from your parents, and obviously, naturally, as any artist, you want people to like what you're doing. But just pay attention to what you're really drawn towards, what makes you feel good, what comes naturally, and just trust that, because as you mature as a musician, having that intuitive awareness and self-awareness is going to lead to much more success. You'll be able to write in ways that are honest and genuine, authentic, and truly connect with your audience.
If I understood things correctly, you produce your own music?
So I write all of my own music. But I do always include a second or third set of ears in the engineering, producing process, because from my experience, by the time I'm done a song, I almost have my blinders on as far as the true potential for it. And so I've found, finding people that you really trust and that understand you and you can relate to, play well with, they'll have ideas that can take your song to a whole nother level. And that takes also a lot of humility in being able to listen to the constructive criticism. So being open to that also is very important to me.
Actually, not sure who said it. Criticisms are the unmet needs of individual.
I love that.
It's just tragically, I think it is true, honestly.
And communication, that's really it. Like if you're, and that falls into my advice, if you're aligned with the way you're feeling, it'll be easy to communicate and you'll attract the right people, right? You won't get caught up in some project that's, big and out of control and doesn't feel right, and then you might end up, doing something you regret or just falling into a bad path. You never know, so it's important to just stay in tune.
What is your process of writing a song?
My process currently is just full on surrender. I don't. I used to, try to regiment it and keep things, within my control. But I found creatively, I was stifling myself with expectation, criticism. So now I just try. I view it. I grew up in a small town in southern Saskatchewan. Lots of people hunted, and I view it kind of like that. You gotta be out and you gotta be ready and you gotta be willing, you gotta be prepared. But at the end of the day, if there's no animals out in the forest or out in the prairie, that's okay. You had fun. You got to go enjoy yourself, right? So that's where my process is now. Now, don't get me wrong. I've done the sit for 3 hours and write the same lines over and over and over again. But that tends to water down the emotion anyways. So I think, especially today, people want raw, honest, genuine expression. So yeah, that's really my process. It's up in the air.
I mean, it's a creative process, so there's no right or wrong, right?
Exactly.
It's end of the day, if you make a good song and people like it, I think that's all it matters. You're just trying to communicate a story which is in your mind in a song. Very interesting. How much do you make as a musician in a year?
In a year right now? Well, it's funny, actually. I did the math last night because I'm in a bit of a different situation musically, and I was curious, okay, if I'm going to make this transition, what does my future look like? So, instead of, telling you right now, hey, here's where I'm at in the books, but this is my forecast for the next 12 months based on my income from the last 6, is going to be just right on the line of $50,000 a year, and I'm really proud of that. Now that's $50,000 less than what I made in the oil field, but I've got absolutely amazing life that's worth far beyond that. And so the value of that 50,000 is man, I don't know how to say it. It's just finally things are set up in a way where I get to be me, and I think that's the goal in every professional's life. I mean, we want to get paid for our authentic selves, our authentic viewpoints, our authentic points of view. So, yeah, I'm happy, and I know there's lots of room to grow from there. But I think it's a great starter point for myself, as I am just beginning the end of a 2-year process of discovering a project and discovering place and distribution and studio and producer. I kind of spent the better part of 2 years finding that, and at the point where it's all just going to be coming together for a launch here, hopefully in the next 12 months.
I'm actually super happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Especially, we don't want to feel like going for work every day. It's not a good feeling. So I can totally understand and relate what you just said. I would like you to give an advice to the people who are listening to our talk. Okay. What's your advice for them if they are not sure what they want to do, and if they are not sure, they didn't figure their passion yet? What's your advice there?
Just ask the question and wait for the answer to present itself to you. For me, it was as simple as, what is my truth? It only took about 60 days till my truth showed up in my life. I think it's the questions we ask ourselves, but it's not coming up with them on our own. It's being willing to surrender the question and find the answer in a way that is in tune with the world around you. And, that includes yourself. We're not always going to get that instant gratification of what we want. And you're setting yourself up for failure when you have those expectations, from my experience. And so that would be my advice, and take it or leave it. I know I'm not exactly a business professional in any means. I know what I love, and I've learned how to do it in a way that feeds me and puts a roof over my head. And that's all that I have to brag about, and it's something that I am very proud about. Working on a visa to be playing down, touring, recording, writing in the United States of America, the southern states, Texas, Tennessee, Arkansas, and Louisiana. If I can fundraise enough money to expedite the visa, I can begin working down there at the end of May. And if I don't raise the money, it'll be this fall, which essentially means I miss out on the busiest season, which I've already accepted. But my buddies down there, they set up a fundraiser page in hopes that we can raise the money to get me back down there to continue working with them. So if you would like to support what I'm doing, and if you'd like to help me on my path and my career, you can donate at my GoFundMe page. Search me on Facebook, Instagram at Dane Von Hagen, or on GoFundMe as Dane Von Hagen. Thank you, guys. DaneVonHagen.
Amazing. It was a great chat, and I'm wishing you all the best for your musical career.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Danny. It was nice meeting you.
Absolutely.